Hey guys, Jordan with the Young Turks and TYT Politics. I hope you're having a very nice Friday. Sorry for my grizzly bear, nasty beard look. Not much time to shave and standing rock, but trying my best. It is currently -2 degrees, feels like -10, but there is good news all around on the Standing Rock front. Being here as long as I have, sometimes you stumble upon news you're not supposed to find out, which just happened about a half hour ago. So I'm happy for that. I can confirm to you that the U.S. Army Corps, obviously, the U.S. Army Corps technically oversees Lake Oahe. Could you close the door? Technically oversees Lake Oahe, as well as some other properties here. And they were the ones that denied the final permit for Dakota Access Pipeline Energy Transfer Partners to drill. They will be raising the water level at Lake Oahe. Basically, Lake Oahe flows into the Missouri River, or the Missouri River flows into Lake Oahe. Lake Oahe is the lake that the main water source that everybody has been fighting over, the Native Americans, non-natives, water protectors. The Army Corps will be raising the level of Lake Oahe. By raising the levels, that makes it pretty much impossible for Energy Transfer Partners to drill. They've been threatening that they will drill despite having a permit. By raising the water levels, it makes it impossible for them to drill. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a physicist. I can't really explain that well. But essentially, when you raise the water levels, it makes it more difficult to drill because it makes the drilling less stable. So raising the water levels, thus, would make it impossible for them to drill. Obviously, this is a victory for Standing Rock Sioux Tribe. It's not complete victory, which I'll get to in a minute. But there's been a lot of misinformation going around. That's Jordan. They're drilling anyways. Nobody really trusting that the company was not currently drilling under Lake Oahe. Well, I could tell you they are not drilling under Lake Oahe, and the U.S. Army Corps is raising the water levels. I can't tell you when they're raising the water levels, but my understanding of it is it will be imminent that they're going to be raising the water levels. The water levels were lowered up till this point in the expectation that the company would be drilling. But now that the final permit was not granted to them, which obviously happened on Sunday, the Army Corps will be raising the water level. By raising the water level, my understanding is they'll have to release at least one of the dams. There's dams throughout the water here. By releasing one of the dams, there's the risk of flooding the whole entire camp, Osheti-Socoan Camp. Osheti-Socoan Camp is the main encampment here that's had thousands of water protectors, Native Americans, non-natives, environmentalists, here all the way back to, when were people first there? Like April. All the way back to April. So that is something I've just reached out to the Army Corps about to find out if they will be releasing a dam in order to raise the water levels. How will this camp be protected from flooding? If they can't guarantee that, my assumption would be they eventually will be evacuating the camp, because you're not going to flood a camp with thousands of people there. I've done interviews at the camp today. Even though it is very cold, there's still people at the camp. There's another snowstorm expected this weekend, but many people there plan on staying. They say they have winterized or heated tents, and they are able to persevere through a blizzard. There's a lot of people who have left. If I'm being honest, it kind of looks like a ghost town, the camp, compared to when I'm normally there. During the week, it's fairly full, and of course on the weekends, a lot more people come in. They call them the weekend warriors. But yeah, 2 days ago and today, it looks kind of half full. There's not a lot of people walking around camp. You see less cars, less tents. And this is, because of, it feels like -10 degrees right now. And there was just a blizzard 2 days ago, and the forecast says there's supposed to be another severe snowstorm this weekend. So it's cold, and not everybody is equipped to handle the cold. And frankly, even if you have heated tents, it's still cold. Can you live through it? Can you sleep at night? Yes, but it's still very cold. But the bottom line, if you're just coming to this, the Army Corps will be raising the water level. By raising the water level on Lake Oahe, that makes it impossible for Dakota Access Pipeline to drill. When the water level is raised, it makes it unstable when you're drilling. So that is a positive. Again, I've reached out to the Army Corps to find out if you're raising the water level, and the expectation is by raising the water level, the camp might be flooded. How are you going to protect the still over 1,000 people that are at that camp? So we'll see if they get back to me. By the way, the black snake is not dead, whoever's writing that, so let me explain. So before I found this out, there was a court hearing in D.C., U.S. District Court, where Dakota Access Pipeline, the parent company is Energy Transfer Partners, Dakota Access Pipeline had sued, asking for a federal district court judge to basically overturn the Army Corps' decision not to grant a permit. So the first procedural hearing in that case was today. There's not like huge news that came from it, but there is news if you read in between the lines. So I want to read for you what happened. Basically, Dakota Access Pipeline asked for the judge to expedite a ruling, saying that they're losing $20 million a week because the oil is not flowing. And, of course, the oil company is always going to be kicking and screaming. So the judge said, you losing $20 million a week is not my problem. Nobody told you to drill. Nobody told you to build an entire pipeline without all the permits. So the judge would not expedite a ruling on whether to overturn the Army Corps of Engineers' denial of the permit as fast as Energy Transfer Partners would have liked. Essentially, this was mostly a status conference regarding the Army Corps' decision. The judge set the following schedule. The government, meaning the U.S. Army Corps, and the Standing Rock Sioux Tribe, they need to get their reasons and for opposition. They need to get their case in by January 6th of 2017. Then Dakota Access Pipeline's response to Standing Rock Sioux Tribe and the Army Corps, they have till January 31st. So the first deadline would be January 6th. That's when Standing Rock Sioux Tribe and the U.S. Army Corps have to make their case why there should be no permit to drill under the lake. And then the Energy Transfer Partners has till January 31st. Of course, they're going to get their response in probably the same day, if not the next day, after Standing Rock Sioux and Army Corps get theirs in, presumably by January 6th. Then then Energy Transfer Partners will probably get their response in either the same day or the day after. But the government and the tribes have then a 10-day period to respond to Energy Transfer Partners. So let's say Energy Transfer Partners sends in their response to the Army Corps and Standing Rock Sioux Tribe on January 6th. Army Corps and the Standing Rock Sioux Tribe have till January 16th to get their response. A full hearing on the motions will be likely come in February, the judge said. So you're talking about a ruling not coming potentially till February. Well, why that's important is the contracts between Energy Transfer Partners and its investors, that there's an opt-out clause for the investors starting January 2nd, 2017. Essentially, if the pipeline's not flowing, if it's not a guarantee that this judge is going to overturn that ruling of the Army Corps not to drill, if Donald Trump has not come out and said he will just fast track and approve the pipeline permit, then reason would stand there's going to be investors that pull their money out. Because if Dakota Access Pipeline, according to them, is losing $20 million a week, well, that means the investors are losing quite millions of dollars in investment. So this timeline, you have January 2nd, 2017 as the opt-out date for investors to pull out. And the judge had said hearing likely, the final hearing for a ruling likely in February. So if you have investors losing millions of dollars and they have an opt-out clause in the contract January 2nd, and there's not a final hearing till potentially February, the hearing could come later. Hey, I'm not a business investor, but investors could pull out. And this comes along with the Army Corps raising the water levels so that they can't drill. So the bottom line is, listen, I'm not Native American, so like I was not raised being with my people massacred. I was not raised in mass genocide, my land being stolen. So maybe my distrust of the government is less than the Native Americans. I just spoke with LaDonna Brave Bull Allard. She's a tribal leader here. I spoke with her many times. She said, even with this ruling, we still need to be vigilant. We still need to stand here until that drill pad is gone. They don't trust the government because the government has never done anything to earn their trust. The government has only lied to Native Americans. With that said, my objective analysis says money rules the world. And if investors have a chance on January 2nd, 2017 to pull out, I think you're going to see a lot of investors pull out because the bottom line is this pipeline, the oil will not be flowing and there will be no drilling if they can't drill. And if the Army Corps of Engineers is raising the water levels, they cannot drill. They can't. I mean, there's no way to stably drill if the water levels are raised. Again, I'm not a physicist. I'm not a scientist. I can't give you an expert reason why. Maybe I'll get somebody to explain that in an interview after. But I think this is good news. I really do. It does not mean that the fight is over. It does not mean that the pipeline is dead. So I don't want you guys to prematurely, go streaking and get hammered on a Friday night. But this is probably the best, double pair of news that has come in many days. Now, we must be vigilant. The Osheti-Sakoi camp, which is the main camp, has been the hub, the epicenter of the water protectors since April. So you're going on, close to a year. And if they raise the water levels, there's a good chance this camp is going to be flooded. So that is the next part of the story. If the land could be flooded, when do they plan on getting people out? How do they plan on protecting the land, protecting the people? So I will anxiously be waiting a response from the Army Corps. But as of now, I have not gotten one. But bottom line is, it's good news. The Army Corps is now being proactive. The whole time that I reached out to the Army Corps, this whole process, I was getting talking points. I was getting pretty much the go around. I wasn't getting specific answers. So now, and I was asking preemptively, well, what are you going to do to make sure they're not drilling? Well, apparently they're doing something to make sure they're not drilling. So that's good news. And just to give you kind of a feel, if you were coming to this late, there's supposed to be another snowstorm this weekend, but I was just at camp about an hour ago. It's very cold. If I'm being honest, it kind of looks like a bit of a ghost town. It's definitely been cleared out by at least half. I saw a lot less cars. I saw a lot less people. It's kind of people in pairs walking around as opposed to seeing mass groups everywhere like you normally see when the weather isn't this bad. There's also an issue with sanitization there. They've removed the porta potties from camp because the porta potties were freezing. They were getting frozen. So now they are trying to bring in more eco-friendly porta potties. I don't really know what those are, but they're trying to bring in some eco-friendly porta potties. But to this point, they're literally taking people to and from the camp and the casino so people can go to the bathroom. So I'll have plenty of people shitting in my room tonight because I would want people to do that for me. But as of now, there are no porta potties left at camp. They're all frozen and they've been removed. They're trying to come up with some type of plan to bring porta potties in. You should know that the tribal leaders have asked for no more people to come to camp, citing that they don't have enough supplies to basically keep everybody safe in a winter camp, in winter settings. So it remains to be seen if that will stop more people from coming in. The chairman has kind of urged people already there to leave, citing the winter. Again, it remains to be seen if people decide not to come, or if people decide the people that are there already decide to leave. People I spoke to today have no plans on leaving. And I should say, again, this was always bigger than just the pipeline. Native Americans do not trust the government. They don't care that President Obama has denied the permit. They're probably not going to listen to this news that the Army Corps is raising the water levels, which would stop from them drilling. They are conditioned through their history that the government lies, the government steals, the government murders. So until they see that drill pad gone and those DAPL workers gone, the Native Americans will not be backing down. They don't plan on stopping fighting. As always, thank you for bearing with me in my lavish studio, this time with my bed behind me. I try to report from wherever I can get Wi-Fi, and that happens to be in my bedroom. But again, spread this far and wide. The Army Corps will be raising the water levels, which will stop Dakota Access Pipeline and the parent company, Energy Transfer Partners, from drilling. And this court case today essentially moved a final decision on whether a judge will overturn the Army Corps denying the pipeline. That hearing to rule has been moved down to at the earliest February, which means there's some angry investors with a chance to pull out of their contracts in January, and that will be very interesting to see if they do. My money is on investors starting to pull out, and the house of cards falls when the money men are gone. So that's the news. I will be going live as best as I can if there's further updates, and you could watch all the latest videos I've done from here on youtube.com/TYT Politics. My colleague Emma Viglin has been holding down the fort on non-Dakota Access Pipeline stories. I'll try to do some non-Dakota Access Pipeline as well. But as of now, I'm just going to follow, get more updates, and then probably get drunk tonight. I'm out.